you have any particular challenge a kid is facing, you can always snap the handwriting and send to us directly, and I'll look at it and we'll see how we can assist the kid. There is no handwriting that cannot be rectified. Three natural factors that shape the way we write. Three natural factors that shape the way we write. One, we have the gender. Whether the person is male or female. Two, we have the hand preference. Whether the person prefers using the left hand or the right hand, or the person prefers using both hands, is also under hand preference. Then we have the third natural factor that influences handwriting. We have the personal characteristics. The personal characteristics. So under gender, we have male or female. This affects how the person writes. The person is a male, he writes differently. If it's a female, he writes differently. Under hand preference, we have three different types of hand preferences. We have left hand. We have the right hand. And we have those who use both hands. Those who use the both hands are actually called ambidextrous. Ambidextrous is from the word ambi. Ambi means both. When we talk about amphibians, that is animals that live both on water and land. So when we talk of ambidextrous, it also means somebody who has the ability to use both hands. So these are them. And then under personal characteristics, we have issue like the person's own character. Take for instance, if the person is very meticulous, takes notice of every detail, that now appears in the person's handwriting. So these are three factors that influence a person's handwriting. And these factors, they have nothing to do with what somebody chooses. They are basically born with it. And if from the early stages of their writing, these factors are not put into consideration, they tend to, later in life, affect how the person writes. Take for instance, the male writes differently and females by nature write differently. Unfortunately, our textbooks that we introduce children to do not take these things into consideration. So all the kids are forced to write in the same way. But then there are some varieties. Take for instance, if you're a male kid, let's just have them this way, and you are female. Most time you will see a male, when you are with kids in class, sometimes you see them write this way, but you are telling them, no, why not write this way? But this is very typical of female, this way. Male tend to be, yeah, and that's why sometimes their handwriting is messy, but because they want to experiment, so it ends up being messy. Instead of writing B, the females tend to write their B this way, in such a way that both the upper lobe curve and the down curve, they are the same. But when the males are writing, they tend to write this upper one smaller and the down one bigger. So once you have a textbook and the textbook is in this way, it's only favoring the female students. The male students, they tend to leave their C open, whereas female students tend to curve their C because they tend to be more precise and very meticulous in their writing. D, you will see a female student, a male student will write D this way, where the up just like their B, where the upper part of the D is up. But for the females, you will see they will curve it almost the same. The E's are almost the same, but the female, sometimes you see the male carelessly writing this way, but you see the male. So while the male may sometimes write this way, the female will stay at this. The G, you see the male will tend to write it this way, but the female will remain this way because they want to be very careful with it. You see this aspect, for the male, it comes out, but for the female, they tend to make it and it stays online immediately. This way, J, while the male will just write their J this way, the female will prefer to have their J's this way. K, well, almost there's no much difference. K, L, there could still be some differences, but now M, the male tend to write their M with the inner part here hanging, but the females, you see they'll write their L will come up and every part here will be the same, but here you see it is hanging. N, the same. O, while the males write O like an egg somehow, the females tend to make their O broader this way, is broad, just like they are eight. Like when the males are writing 8, for instance, you see the upper part of L, S will be smaller. But when the females are writing 8, they tend to write it equally. O, P, the P for the female male, this low, this cuff tend to be smaller. But for the female, you can almost see it out this way. O, P, Q, Q takes the format of and then the females will write yes. W, X, Y. Now W for the male, just like the M here, the W for the male will be here, but for the female, no. While mostly the male write their X this way, the female tend to make it straight so that it is neat, because the male have the tendency of cursive, whereas the female have the tendency of printing it. So for them, order and neatness is more important by nature, just for the fact that you're a male and female. So when you have kids in class and you see the textbook is saying write this way or write that way, and you see male students writing W this way, please do not be very hard on them. There's nothing wrong with it. And the female. So if you are a female teacher, you will discover some things that are different. If you are a male teacher and you are teaching female students, you also discover some things and some changes that are different. So why? Well, there's not much different. Z, but female male like this, just like the E, they would like to do this. That the female would do. Possibly this. Gradually, this is disappearing. But this is basically uh, when it comes to separation by gender. For the fact that somebody is a male, we tend to write this way. For the fact that somebody is a female, we tend to write this way, not by choice. We are not now saying that somebody cannot practice. Maybe you're a female, a male, but at the initial state of writing, it's good that we encourage writers to follow their gender. So now we'll go to the hand preference and demonstrate. Let's look at it closer. So now, for the hand preference, we have the left hand, we have the right hand, then we have those who use both hands. Now, what are some differences? Let's look at them together. These differences we are demonstrating with capital letters. Now, let's start with the left. The left hand is here, and then right, the right hands are here. Now, in those who write with the left hand, when they write their A this way, they don't cross from left to right. They tend to cross from right to left. Meanwhile, those who are right-handed, when they write their A this way, they cross it this way from left to right. And then those who are left hand cross it from right to left. So when textbooks come and they are demonstrating that A, you do the point here and cross here, and then a teacher is forcing the left-handed, please cross it from this edge. It's always a problem. At the end, the person can have a disfigured handwriting, not because the person is poor, but because the hand preference or the natural setup of that person is made up in such a way that the person will cross this way. It's more convenient. Whereas if you are using the right hand, it's more convenient to go this way. So textbooks that come indicating that with the arrow going this way, they confuse left-handed students in class. And please, this is very important because many cases of poor handwriting later in life, they come from this foundational stage because we tend not to understand why a kid is writing the way he or she is writing. Now, left-handed. Now, let's take this way. When they write their E, you see, mostly it's with alphabets that go this way. They write their E, take for instance, this way. While the right-handed will come this way, and this way. The left-handed will cross it this way. So you discover as teachers and as parents, once you are teaching kids who are left-handed, and once they finish drawing this line, they hesitate because the teacher is demonstrating that they should write this way. But for them, they are finding it very odd to write this way. So they hesitate. And to make it worse, if we shout at them at that time, they can lose balance because it's like they are like wondering what is happening here. How comes nobody is understanding the way I feel? But we need to put this into consideration. Otherwise, later it affects them. So basically, all these alphabets, all these letters that have crossing, like the B, the E, F, H, the J, yeah, F, For the left-handed, it's like this. For the right-handed, it's like this. Now, H is also in that category. For the left-handed, they go this way and they cross it this way. And then for the right-handed, they go this way, they go this way, and they cross it this way. Now, T for the left-handed, they go this way and they cross it. They go this way, they cross it to this way. Whereas for the right-handed, they go this way and they cross it to this way. Now, there's another category, O and O and Q. When you give a pen to the right-handed to write O, they write O, and most textbooks favor the right-handed. Use O, they go anti-clockwise. O, they go this way, right-handed. Whereas the left-handed students, they go anti-clockwise. They go this way. Right-handed go this way, left-handed go this way. The same thing when it comes to the Q. The left-handed will go this way, and most time they'll cross and go up from here to here, just the way these ones go. Whereas the right-handed will go this way and cross down. So once you have a textbook demonstrating that we normally cross to down this way, and this is the starting point, you end up confusing the left-handed students. This should be taken care of. And sometimes you see some, yeah, that is about the Q and this, all right? Now, we have issues like P. Because the P has like an O curve there. You see some left-handed will go this way and start their P this way. They'll pass their P this, because they always want to end up where the energy is. So you see B, they'll go this way and take it from down here. Whereas the tendency for the right-handed is to go this way, or go this way and this way. So whereas textbooks will come demonstrating that we write B coming from this way, but the left-handed wants to write his or her B coming this way. So these changes or these differences in writing, because of the hand preference, especially from the foundational stage, need to be taken care of very seriously. Because once these changes are not taken care of, later they manifest themselves as a deficiency or a bad handwriting, whereas it is an issue of bad orientation. Please, parents and teachers and students themselves, please, you will need to familiarize ourselves with all these differences. They are natural. There's nothing wrong with it. They need to be nurtured. If later in life somebody wants to practice how to write in any form, it is okay. But at the initial stage, if these things are not taken care of, they can really interfere with the formative or the formation of the handwriting. Now, what do we mean by personal characteristics? Personal characteristics. Now, having said that, gender, be it male or female, affects handwriting, and having also accepted that left hand or right hand or both-handedness affects handwriting, there is still another factor, which is the personal characteristics. These personal characteristics now deals with the individual's own difference. Somebody can be male, can be female, but he or she still has a very unique characteristics. Take for instance, if somebody is meticulous, if somebody takes note of every detail, if you are a female or a male, it's also possible. So this affects the way they write. Take for instance, um, in capital letters, actually capital letters historically were the first set of letters that were designed. Now, they were designed this way because the first language writing was in carving. So when they were designed this way, it is easier to carve them. But when the pen, writing pen or like marker, the pen was discovered many centuries down the line, it discovered that it was difficult to write, to use the pen to write these capital letters. And that is why if you are copying notes using the capital letters, it's so difficult. But if you are carving the capital letters, let's say on a rock, on a stone, on a wood, it is easier to carve using the the capital letters. But when it comes to writing, it is easier to use the smaller letters. So where are we heading to? Now, personal characteristics appear more in small letters because that is now in the actual writing. In that we have, let's put here personal, personal characteristics from the word characteristics. Now, when it comes to writing, you discover that those, for instance, who are very meticulous, when they are writing, the position of their dots tend to be closer to their, take for instance, somebody who is very meticulous will write I mostly this way, with the dot right beneath it, right under, right on top of the I, or the J always this way. Now you will see that some will write this way, and their dot will be slightly away from the I. Some will write their J this way. Now, this has to do with being meticulous. If you will observe that letters like G, they tend to have some special features. You see, you have the option of writing G this way. You have the option of writing G this way. You can also write G, somehow this way. But those who are meticulous, there's a way they carve this their G that you see they want to have to attain some level of perfection, and you see it will come on the line. You see, it's totally different from this G, but it's still G. It is right on the line. When they come to Q, you see their Q is this way. But you see some will write the Q either this way or this way. And those who are meticulous, they will show that both the inner part and the outer part is almost the same. See? Whereas those who are just writing, who tend to be a bit careless, will write it this way. So, but these are those, they are not very, very obvious, but then they are also practical. Because once you take up an exercise book and you have never known the person, you have never seen the person, you are able to guess, is this person a male or a female? That is one. You are able to guess, is the person a left-handed or a right-handed? And you are able to guess, is this person the type who tends to be very careful or who is a bit? And that is why sometimes in school, as a class teacher, you discover that sometimes we have cases of either a student has written something on the board that is offensive and we are trying to find out who did it and nobody is owning up, or we have cases of students who write a letter and or write something that is not in line, and then we are trying to find out who really did this, and everybody will be okay. What happened? So first of all, in order to eliminate it, you can go trace the gender, you go to the hand preference, and then you look at the character. And in many cases, we have been able to do this elimination till we get the culprit. There was a case of a kid who wrote a threatening letter to another kid. I'm like, but if that person is not found out, it means everybody is going to serve the punishment. But now, what did we do? We simply now started doing the process of elimination. As we are eliminating, the few people that fell under the handwriting, we now took their exercise books and tried to see how they wrote. When they are writing those things, they don't take note of issues like that. So it is very possible to use these three factors, these three natural factors, to detect uh, issues of even exam malpractice in school. Let's say a kid gave the work to another kid to write, who is a male or a female, and or he's not the person who wrote it. You are able to detect, even as much as they try to follow the other person's handwriting. You are able to know that it is not this person who wrote this thing. So this is some of the importance of knowing this natural tendency of gender, hand preference, and personal characteristics, especially for us parents, for us teachers, and counselors who have to deal with cases of students and who also have to encourage them, so that we are not forcing male students to be female students. The choir master has got this secret, because what the choir master does is, when the choir master goes into a music class, the choir master does not force students or force the choristers to change their voice. No, the choir master simply listens. Okay, is that the way you are singing? Now go this way. Go this way. Go this way. Till he or she is able to separate tenor, bass, soprano, and things like that. So our aim as educators, our aim as parents, is not to force handwriting on students, but is to allow them, first of all, write the way they are. Then we simply come in and modify it. Once we take that approach, it becomes very easy, because at the end of the day, if a student is a male, the person will always remain a male. If it's left-handed, the person will always remain a left-handed. And there are some handwriting cases that you can solve by simply asking the kid, the way you are writing, can you try writing the same thing with the left hand? You mean I can use my left hand? Then you know that this kid was at a point forced to use the right hand. And he or she is almost feeling guilty for picking up the pen with the left hand and attempting to write. More so told by you, the teacher, to write. The kid is like, what is happening? This is what I've lost all my life. Yes, and this is what has affected many kids. And once the kid starts writing, you start seeing the beauty you start seeing a lot of changes because the kid is now connecting with the handwriting. The kid is connecting with the handwriting. The voice and the handwriting are natural things. So for those who are facing the issues of parents, of teachers calling you from school, come back, your kid is not able to write. Sometimes you just need to tell them, please, can you go back to your left hand? Or can you go back to your right hand? Or can you go and adopt this? Or can you just stop using this copying because it is not you? And write like you and we correct as you. So please do subscribe for more of our videos. And if you have any question, write in the comment section. If you have any comments to make, write on the comment section. You have any observation, you have any particular challenge a kid is facing, you can always snap the handwriting and send to us directly, and I'll look at it and we'll see how we can assist the kid. There is no handwriting that cannot be rectified once we follow the right procedure. Thank you and stay connected.